Hello, good day. Thank you for joining me. My name is Dennis, and welcome to my art channel. Today we're going to be doing a watercolor painting. This time I've got a square canvas to work on. This is a 6" by 6" hot press paper, one of the smoother kind of papers where it just sort of has very little texture and the water can flow across the page rather easily. You can see that happening almost immediately with my wash brush laying on a thick slab of color, starting with sepia and some carmine. A lighter combination of colors that kind of feel pinkish on the page as they've come out, but with the wash done, it's time to move on to a smaller, yet still quite large brush. This one's a large angle brush, and I'm layering in with the yellow. This one's a cadmium yellow light hue, and working in on all those little areas and kind of crossing in between. I feel like this kind of combo of pink and yellow reminds me of like a pink lemonade, that sort of strawberry lemonade kind of a feeling. Give me some summer vibes. And the weather here is actually warming up a little bit. Winter seems like it's ending, so maybe that's part of the color inspiration going into this one. Just the overall environment looking a little bit up right now. Feeling like going outside a little bit more each day, you know. It's not my favorite time of year in the winter. I prefer spring and fall, those in between kind of seasons where you get to not be super heat stressed and not have to wear a billion layers when it comes to the winter, you know, like that chill kind of 60-degree Fahrenheit kind of weather. But yeah, that's just me. Let me know in the comments what you kind of prefer, if there's a ideal kind of climate conditions for you. But back to the painting, we're layering in some ultramarine blue, getting it on all parts of the painting. Now it's chosen blue, and it cannot just be in one area. It's got to sort of spread all across the page. I left a little circle in the middle of that blue and fill it in with a bit more of that carmine color. Now that I'm a little more saturated with it as well, it comes off a bit darker, less pinkish and more reddish. And mixing in the yellow, we'll turn it into a bit more of orange in some areas. Although I think I saturated the brush with so much yellow that it doesn't quite start blending in the areas where the water has already started to dry up a little bit. You can see even with these strokes with the sepia tone, I've got first stroke very dark color, and that's sort of staying there as a dark brown, and it faded away in some of the other areas where it's a little wetter and it can bloom and spread into all the other kind of nooks, crannies, and other colors. Going in now with this round brush, the texture of the brush stroke is a little more my focus, leaving some lines and markings sort of feeling like leaves or some sort of branches going across the page here. I am building some sort of tree or some limb kind of motif going on. I feel it coming from like that bottom right area extending up and across the page. But that said, I do think that this painting, similar to my paintings in recent weeks, is more so about the colors than it is about the composition. Although I am always trying to have an interest in painting, and I think all aspects of all aspects of design are important for creating a appealing painting. If that's the goal, or make something impactful in the opposite direction, then you just gotta ignore some of these design kind of quote-unquote rules. I feel like the kind of things that, as they say, are meant to be broken, meant to go into this without having to feel like you're bound by some unwritten text on how to dip your brush in water and pigment and put it on paper. Because really, that's all we're doing is mark making. Nothing too crazy going on here. Although I hope it is interesting what's going on this page. I'm always fully engaged when I'm painting, so I wonder how engaged you might be with just viewing process. Let me know in the comments how you feel, how these strokes sort of do. There's a lot of variety in this painting, at least comparing it to the last few. I think notable is something like that big patch of red in the center, that not totally on the center, it's a bit off center, and I feel like I like it as a core kind of spot in this painting, something to draw the eye into from the outskirts of the painting. Cutting through it with this brush, I've got some lines breaking it, so it's not just a flat spot on the painting. There's some sort of layering, some sort of depth. Trying to make things a little deeper than they are, at least make things seem like you can grab one of these branches out of the painting and give it a pull, give it a break. Who knows? Something interesting coming out of it. That's the goal with these. This is probably one of the most delicate brushes that I have, and the line work is real when it comes to these. It's interesting to see how, now that the page is still wet, going off with like a saturated blue, a saturated yellow, it does cross into a mixture of green. It's not too, what's the word for it? Too contrasty of all these primaries, because I do feel like putting red, blue, and yellow all together as saturated as they are, that's something that's something that I'm playing with right now. How much should I mix them into their respective secondary, tertiary, whatever kind of colors I can make with them, and how much should I just let the colors sit and let them speak by themselves? I feel like, especially with the yellow, it feels almost radioactive looking at it in this way. This is a method that I feel like, technique I feel like I haven't employed too much in the video paintings, is doing some dry brushing on the wet paint. I wasn't quite liking how dark the upper area was getting, so I grabbed this totally dry flat brush and just started hitting the wet paint and clearing away some of the upper area where there's now like a light wash, almost feels like a misty dark rainfall up there. That's it. It's a new space for a new color, and going in with the yellow and mixing it in, it becomes a darker kind of color. I don't know exactly what yellow to attribute it to, but it feels more mustardy than just the kind of neon yellow that is in a lot of the rest of the painting. But yeah, I can go on about this, I feel like, forever. The painting and the process, this is what I'm here for. This is what I live for. Thank you for, hearing me out on it. I feel like sometimes I should interject with a bit of just, I guess, real life stuff, just what's going on in life outside of the painting, since I do feel like, I think that life imitates art and art imitates life. The two are inseparable, and you do need to have an understanding of life to make good art, in my opinion. Not that you need to have an understanding to make art, but that a good understanding is what it takes to make better art that really speaks to an experience, art that speaks to something that is real. So recently I've been watching a couple of sports. I've been watching Formula 1 and the NBA. I think one is much more competitive than the other at the moment, with NBA definitely taking the crown on that. It's very entertaining every game, seeing what's going on. Last night, seeing Lakers versus Bulls was a crazy game. I highly recommend that if you're into sporting. I feel like I don't fully know all the rules of these games, but it's just always fun to hear people be invested into their teams and see what's going on, the spirit of competition. I feel like that kind of dynamicism of sport is inspiring for me, and maybe that's one of the takeaways into this painting was my thoughts of Giddy throwing that buzzer beater. Oh my, half-court buzzer beater. I really recommend checking it out if you haven't seen it. If you're into sports, that is. This is my art channel though, so I'll probably keep the sports talk to a minimum. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you're new here, and I hope to catch you in the next video, posting the next Friday. I hope you enjoy the weekend. Take care. Peace.